you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the Tobago Updates Youth Morning Show, coming to you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. Now, our live shot is coming straight from the Hawkins Square roundabout, and for all of you joining us this morning, I just want to say thank you. Starting your morning meditation with us is always a vibe here at the Youth Wednesdays Morning Show. I am Luke Trim, and I'm also joined by
Dwayne Nurse, and I want to share with you all the various platforms on which you're viewing us this morning, which include M&E TV, Kyle, Smash Radio, YouTube, and Facebook. And there might be many, many more. And I'm also ably joined by
Kaylee Lewis. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Dwayne and Luke.
Good morning.
What's up this morning? What's the vibe?
We have to wish our viewers a very, very happy new year.
Most definitely.
You know, this is a new year. The energy, I don't know if it's me alone, but the energy this year has just been feeling amazing. And for all our viewers, I know that 2022 might have been a year that was really hard for us, but just say goodbye to the things that are no longer profitable, so the things that are profitable can take place in your life this year. What about you guys? What's been up?
Well, I I'm feeling the vibe. I'm looking forward to what 2023 has, whether it be trials, tribulation, successes, failures, everything, because you know all of that is what you know comes together at the end of the day to make you who you are. And you know, for those who had a daunting year, I also want to join with Luke to encourage you to remain steadfast, persistent, and put God first.
Definitely. I mean, all the trials and tribulations make us who we really are. And I really do want to wish everyone a very happy new year. All the best for 2023. All the successes, everything that you hope and wish for. Is there anything specific that you all want to achieve this year?
Should I share that on air?
Anything that you want to do, anything new that you want to try, probably.
What about you, Kelly? Start us off and we'll follow your lead.
Okay, well, our show, before last week, the sports show, it inspired me. So this year, I'm going to start swimming classes because it's necessary.
Yeah, because you can't be at Tobago and can't swim.
Problems again, eh?
Can you swim?
No, I can tread water, but the swimming part,
Yeah,
I'm not on the walker level yet. So,
so perhaps you might join Kaylee.
Yeah, I have no problem joining Kaylee.
I think for me, I want to really take fitness very seriously this year. I'm very ashamed to say, but I will share nonetheless that I only went to the gym 3 times last year.
Is that on me? I went 0.
Hey, but the thing is, I have a gym in my office, and I have clothes in my office, and I have you know, protein powder and everything. I only went 3 times, so that is why I'm ashamed. But I want to take fitness and overall health very seriously this year, and so on.
Yeah. All right, and Dwayne, I hope to see you probably which gym. If you can't make it at the one in, we'll probably join Marcel's gym. Some gym, you have so many local gyms here, but nevertheless, we have to head over to news in 90 seconds with Kaylee Lewis.
Thank you, Dwayne and Luke. And here is your news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, 4th January 2023. Tributes continued to pour in following the passing of Tobago cultural icon Royal Axback Titus. Among the tributes was that of Chief Secretary Farley Augustine, who stated that Titus contributed greatly to the development of culture on the island and left an indelible mark. Titus was also recognized by the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, which issued a statement praising him for his work as an educator, mentor and performer, which influenced the development of many in the cultural community. Titus passed away on January 2nd at the age of 80. In other news, the Tobago Business Chamber Chairman, Attorney Martin George, complained that Tobago's economy continues to suffer from political ramblings. He claimed that the retail sector experienced low sales over the Christmas season and believes politicians are partly to blame. George said that the continued rift between Chief Secretary Farley Augustine and the political leader of the PDP, Watson Duke, is destroying confidence in the private sector. He added that any sort of political instability or disturbance is never good for the economy and hopes for a peaceful resolution before it's too late. And nationally, the Inter-American Development Bank predicted growth for the economy of Trinidad and Tobago in 2023. The report was publicized last week and stated that the economy is expected to recover in 2023 and maintain moderate levels of growth into 2024. The growth is based on rising energy prices, which are anticipated to continue through 2024. Sectors of the economy which are expected to experience some of the growth are manufacturing, accommodation, food services, and transportation. That was your news in 90 seconds. It's back to you, Dwayne and Luke.
Oh, yes. And thank you very much, Kaylee, for news in 90 seconds. Definitely some good news. Definitely some very much not so good news, especially with the passing of Sir Royal Titus. I would dare to call him Sir. He also, at my short stint at Speyside High, would have taught me there. He taught PAN. I also learned that he was a senator back in the day. You know, a well-rounded individual, and more than that, I think he is a very stellar patriarch in this space. Definitely something that we young people could endeavor to exceed in terms of his mark. So we want to go over to birthdays. This morning we have a few birthdays. Kaylee, might I ask you to do the honors of starting us off?
Not a problem
Ladies
at all.
first,
So
after all.
firstly, we want to send birthday greetings going out to Safia Potsmakul. This is Safia Potsmakul. Happy birthday going out to you.
All right, and next we have Mr. Paul Crooks. A happy birthday to you, Mr. Crooks, from the Tobago Updates family. And next we have?
Next on our list, we have Rhonda Woods. Happy birthday to you, and I hope that you enjoyed today.
All right. And
Next up, we have birthday blessings going out to Chad O'Connor from Julian and the entire family. Happy birthday, Chad.
All right, and next we have Lynette Bacchus. A happy birthday to you from the Tobago Updates family. And
Next, we have Akeisha Burke Davidson. A happy birthday to you, looking lovely in that blue. Who's next?
We also have Fia Rochford. Birthday greetings going out to you, Fia. Next up.
right, and this one is especially for Luke, so I will hand this over to Luke. No?
Okay, this is Peter C. Lewis, who celebrated his birthday yesterday. So a happy birthday to you, Mr. Lewis. You know, I'm getting a jazz vibes from that picture.
Yeah,
Right,
definitely.
all right. I don't.
Next, we have Kyle and John, a Pathfinders. Dwayne, are you in Pathfinders?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So yes, a happy birthday to Kyle and John. And who's next? Kaylee.
Next, we have Yen K. Murray. Happy birthday going out to you. Wow, she is gorgeous, isn't
yes,
she?
she
Very much
is.
so. And she's a model in this space, you know.
She's
You know,
definitely
she's a model, and she's Tobagonian.
Nice.
You know, so
And who's last on our list? Last on our list, this happy birthday goes out to my aunt Natasha James Bedlow. Now, people, this lady is my career manager. She's my motivator. She gives me advice. She tells me what to say, what not to say. She's basically my publicist and Auntie Tasha. You know, we come from a singing family, so I would be bullied if I don't sing happy birthdays for you. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. I love you, Auntie Tasha. Enjoy today.
Well, boy, we finally got this singing.
We finally
promise.
got this singing.
Yeah, this was promised to us since Luke came on the show. It took his hand to inspire him enough to sing. We very much appreciate it, and I'm sure she very much appreciates it.
She will appreciate it.
I hope that when the other birthdays come around, you'll be so inspired.
I'll try my best.
Every week. I think we can handle that every Wednesday, right?
But I think up next on the singing list is Miss Lewis. I wouldn't call her first name.
Listen to that folk vibes from Kaylee when she belt out.
I didn't call her first name.
Well, we can't hide anything here on Tobago Update. But guys, we have to engage the people on the live. Tobago Updates wouldn't be Tobago Updates without our viewers.
Yes.
So Crystal Fraser, a special morning to you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Andre Edwards, Luan James, my mother, a special morning to you. Cindy Stewart Lewis, my friend from Friendland, you know, I love you like a food with Cindy. Next, we have Cynthia Branch. Good morning and Happy New Year to you also. Colin Allen, good morning for joining, and thank you for joining us. He said he's loving the youthful vibes. Amanda Francis, good morning to you. Cindy Stewart Lewis. Again. All right, so thank you all for joining us this morning. Thank you for the compliments. You know, we're going to have a vibe this morning. So who is on today, guys?
Well, Kelly, you want to start off yours?
Not a problem at all. So starting us off this morning, we have Mr. Ari Benjamin. And Ari is going to be talking about the importance of physical education and mental health for athletes. And who do we have next?
Next on our list, we have the couple that took social media by storm. Now, they would have made sacrifices that would have led to some excellent rewards. So we will be bringing on that couple here this morning. Who's next doing?
Right, and next we have Kickers Netball Academy Cycle 2. We have Miss Wilson to talk about the netball fraternity in that regard. And who do we have next, last but not least?
Well, last but not least, we have a very familiar face. He'll be coming to tell us a little bit about the Tobago Youth Awards, the 2022 edition.
Right, so we have an excellent panel today, but guys, we have to tell them to do what?
Share the life,
share the life, share the life. We'll be right back.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash in transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Put
a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Youth Morning Show, coming to you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. Now, the mind and body of an athlete is put through enormous stress and physical demands through workouts, practice, and even their tournaments. On set this morning to share his views on the importance of good physical and mental health for athletes is a young man whose passion for sports and the development of Tobago's athletes has led him right here on the Tobago Updates Youth Morning Show. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to Mr. Ari Benjamin. Special morning to you, Mr. Benjamin. How are you doing this morning?
Hi, good morning, Luke. Also, good morning, Tobago, and Happy New Year to everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful year. I hope you have your goals and everything set. I hope you have yours as well. I heard you speaking a little bit earlier. But yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, and I hope that, whatever I'm about to share today would, really benefit the listeners today.
Great. Now, viewers, you hear that eloquent response. Now, Ari, I heard that one of the reasons behind that such great response is that you were a past student of the Little Jewels Early Childhood Center. Is that true?
Of course. Big up Auntie Kathleen.
Always.
I always have to give her a shout out. She was like a mother to us in Little Jewels.
And I know she's tuned in, and she's probably tuned in, skinning her teeth, so happy to see.
She's probably still smiling.
Yes,
right now.
that both her past students are on air this morning. So, Auntie Kathleen, a special morning to you. Now, Ari, in the flyer, we would have labeled you as a sports educator. We believe in manifesting and speaking things into existence here at Tobago Update. And from the interactions with you, anybody could tell that you be educating people about sports. So for our viewers, what in layman terms is a sports educator?
So a sport educator is an individual who teaches or educates athletes or not least just regular individuals about sports and how it can benefit them in their athletic life and also life outside of their sport. They use their advice for just overall wellness and improvement.
Great. And what you would have studied in university or college that would have led you to, choose sports education as your aspiring career?
Well, it actually started from high school. I attended Bishop's High School. And I want to give another shout out to Mr. Dillon and Miss James. They really piqued my interest in physical education. And from there on out, I was always an athletically inclined person. And it's something that I just wanted to continue. And they say when you go to university, study what you love, right? And I was always interested in sports and athletics. My mother will always say that, I like to play too much, but but yes, and that really pushed me towards studying physical education and sport at Goshen College in Indiana, and I also have a minor in psychology.
Oh, wow. So, Ari, tell our viewers, why do you think it's important for athletes to have good physical health when it comes to, going about their career choices and so on?
Well, it's extremely important because it gives athletes that consciousness as their everyday choices that can either positively or negatively impact their performance on the field and even off the field. It promotes it promotes their overall lifestyle. And it can increase their longevity as an athlete, because there are things like injuries and all that stuff that happens, and having that knowledge really gives you a head start in the recovery process, or giving you that extra advantage over your competitors. And yes, so overall it's positive all around.
It's positive all around. And what are some benefits athletes can gain from proper physical health? What are the pros of proper physical health?
Well, the pros of it improves your performance, it improves your concentration, right? And things such as physical recovery, right? When you're already a physically fit person, when as you said earlier, sports is something that it has a high stress level on the body, and when your body is able to cope with that high level of stress and intensity regularly, having a physically fit body would, it will improve your chances of recovering a lot quicker. And, in turn, you're able to train at a higher level and a more competitive level. Great. And overall, that gives you an advantage over your teammates or your opponents.
Great. So you would have mentioned some benefits, Ari, but in the Tobago space, you will see athletes training vigorously. They're leaving home to go away to foreign countries to study and so on. And I know athletes, they have to make sacrifices to maintain discipline and also achieve success in their journey. Now, what are some mental struggles? Because I'm sure there are some mental struggles athletes may face during their entire career. What are some mental struggles, if any, that athletes face during their lifetime?
Well, I could tell you from my personal experience, there are a whole plethora mental struggles that athletes can face, especially when you go out to a foreign country to pursue your sports. Some of those things, something as simple as homesickness, right? You're in a new environment, you have to make new friends, getting along with your teammates. You also face scrutiny because you're playing sports and you're expected to perform at certain levels. And, if you're not in that proper mindset, or you're not, you don't have that overall wellness to perform at a high level, that's going to cause, is more like a spiral, because when one thing starts going wrong, if you're not able to recover, everything starts going wrong, right? And, there are other things such as getting an injury that can seriously impact your mental health while you're pursuing your sport, because you're not able to train, and that causes a whole load of stress.
Wow. So what are the options? What are the options athletes have? Because I know you would have mentioned you have a minor in psychology. Is there something such as a psychology for athletes that exists in the sports world? Is there anything that can help our athletes cope and heal from whatever trauma they would have adopted through their career?
Yes, actually, there are numerous avenues which athletes can, take advantage of to get over these mental struggles. Right? Firstly, something simple as, finding hobbies for yourself, like something to unwind after a stressful practice, or, a stressful run of games or competitions or whatnot. There's also athletic trainers and coaches. They are integral in making sure that their athletes are well prepared for competition. They also make sure that their athletes, are feeling good physically and mentally. And, if someone is having even more trouble, like they're really having that mental block or that mental, disadvantage, they can always seek a professional. And in this day and age, we have a lot of sports psychologists, right? It's I wouldn't say it's new, but it's a developing field in the world of sports. And, you're seeing more and more people seeing the benefits of making sure that their athletes are taken care of mentally, because your mental well-being is just as important as your physical well-being, especially when it comes to sports.
That's a fact. And Ari, it's great that you mentioned that our athletes, they have the avenues. And when you look in Tobago here, lastly, Ari, in Tobago, we have some of the best athletes. We have our favorite, Nella Walker. We have Asher James with the football, Tyreek Husford on the javelin. These are athletes who have made Tobago proud over and over again. So what are your views? Because, we brought you here this morning, to get the views. What are your views on the potential of our athletes to succeed in their career?
Well, Tobago has extreme potential when it comes to athletes. When you look at our size and look at our population and you see the class of athletes that we're able to produce, there's no doubt that Tobago has some of the highest potential for creating top-class athletes in this world. We don't have as much facilities and programs and training as bigger countries than us, and we're still able to compete every single year at a high level. Wow. And like how you mentioned, Onella and Tyreek and Asha, they are extremely good athletes. And if you look at one thing that they all have in common, they have that work ethic, and they also have that support structure, whether it be from a family level to a village level to a nationwide level. They have that support, and they have that drive to keep on pushing. So you could see, just people that we grew up with here in Tobago, you can see that they're able to achieve it. So why can't you?
Oh, wow, Ari, that was really inspirational. And I hope, thankfully, somebody will just be tuning into this live, someone who could really nudge you into your purpose and let you achieve everything you want to achieve when it comes to the sporting world. So, Ari, I want to thank you on behalf of the Tobago Updates team for joining us this morning. The interview was absolutely amazing. Viewers, listeners, that was Ari Benjamin, the passionate Ari Benjamin people. So I want to thank you all for tuning into this segment. We're going to go to a quick break. Just remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Mamai Lakai Home Services. We specialize in cleaning of carpets and rugs, mattresses, living room and dining room sets, vehicle detailing, cleaning and sanitizing of homes and commercial spaces. We also do landscaping and tree cutting, pressure and power washing, floor care, fumigating and air purifying. You can also call us for professional painting services, babysitting and adult sitting. Call us now 333-4430 at Mamai Lakai Home Services. We take cleaning to another level.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Tobago, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Youth Morning Show. This morning, we're being joined by a couple who made some significant sacrifices to see their dream home come to pass. This morning, they just wish to inspire other young persons throughout the island, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to Azim and Caitlin. How are you all doing this morning?
Good morning. It's pretty early. We're usually not up this early, but happy to be here.
Yes, sure. Okay, so, just a very warm Tobago welcome to you all. Welcome to the Tobago Updates Youth Morning Show. We're really happy to have you all here with us this morning. So, first of all, what are some of the emotions that you all would have experienced when you completed your dream home?
Oh, okay, so basically we've been working on this for a while now. It's been a little bit over a year. When we completed it, well, we still aren't 100% complete. We have a few things to do, like, the little fine details. But it's an amazing feeling to know that the amount of hard work you put into this, and then to see it from just visualizing it. This is the one who designed everything. She planned out everything.
I'm like the artsy one.
Yeah, so to kind of see it in a physical state, it's really amazing. And just looking back at all the pain, the blood, sweat, and tears, yeah, it's an amazing feeling. Can't really describe the emotions. It's too much.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said that Caitlin would have been the one who did most of the designing. Can you speak to some of the specific skills that each of you have that would have ultimately contributed to the completion of your home?
So my skills would be like art and choosing like the colors and how I want the space to turn out, I was able to do like more like that. And Azim was more like into the structure of the place and how he want the structure to be like turned out.
Yeah, so basically, I am pretty hands-on. I mean,
Yeah.
since I was small, everybody told me I'm good at my hands. So I guess I kind of had to utilize those skills that I learned growing up. I guess we may touch on that as well, but just growing up with having all these being around people in the construction field and seeing things, I was able to pick up a lot of these skills and able to utilize it in our own space.
We also use like the power of the internet to get ideas as well. Like we would have used Pinterest and like search up on modern temporary houses and the interior of it, and we use that as a guide.
Okay, so you said that you would have had some experience in the construction field when you were younger. So definitely you see some of the experiences that you had would have played a major role in achieving your dream. You also said earlier that you had to make a lot of sacrifices, definitely. What are some of these sacrifices that you had to make?
So I guess I'll go first. Well, I think everyone would be really anyone going through the same similar situation or doing something of the same nature would tell you financial. Um, it's not an easy road. Whether it's a small house, a big house, it's challenging financially, and we had to make a lot of cutback on things in our life.
Like friends.
Yeah, your social
and
life is
family.
basically put on a pause if you
Yeah.
really want to, achieve the end product. So we had to cut back on a lot of things. We wanted to go to an event, a party. You had to say, you know what, now boy, we can't do this. That money could be used for this. So yeah, the financial cutbacks were a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of sacrifices went into that.
We had to prioritize like more like work over leisure time.
Yeah, most definitely. Like we were missing out on a lot of family events, going out with friends because we really couldn't strike the balance between work, working on the house, and then going out with friends and family. Like no hard feelings towards them or anything, but we just had to put that kind of social life on a pause for a bit. So I think those were the two biggest sacrifices we had to make. And then there's the whole issue, not really an issue, but as a couple, we had to make a lot of sacrifices towards each other.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad I have a wife who's understanding, and I think she's pretty understanding of me as well too. Like we had to sacrifice a lot of time with each other, like other than working on the place. So that was really we time with each other, working on the place. So that was a big sacrifice, but
As well as like saving our money constantly, focusing on like every little detail on how we spend, as well as as simple as cooking home instead of going out and buying food. So we had to budget a lot.
she's a good cook, so that's the good trade off.
Definitely some significant sacrifices. And in terms of challenges regarding finances, what was that like for you all? Did you acquire a loan? Did you have to get assistance from the government? Or did you finance this entire project by yourselves? What was that like?
Okay, so I guess this is the part now where we could really hope to inspire some people, some young people out there, because that was the main goal of this whole post on social media that just blew up. Financially, there were a lot of challenges. We built everything with cash. I don't believe in like loans and stuff. Um, so when we started to build, it would have been, well, actually, when we started to purchase materials, it would have been in the height of COVID. So prices were skyrocketing daily. So if we budgeted for something, let's say, for example, steel, we budgeted a certain amount, and then next week you go to the hardware, and that $5,000 a ton for steel turns into $12,000 a ton, instantly throws off your budget. So that was a huge challenge. In terms of being able to mitigate this or kind of work our way around the challenge, we had to cut back on what we were spending at the time and prioritize where we needed to spend it most. So a lot of things that we were planning to do earlier on, we had to push it down to do later on. And as I'm getting the opportunity, because our biggest goal is really to inspire people. I kind of have this thing growing up since small of aspire to inspire. Yeah, and Caitlin is the same.
Definitely.
A lot of people may say Trinidad lacks Trinidad and Tobago, and I guess especially Tobago, seeing that it's the sister island, it's the smaller of the two islands. A lot of people may say there's not a lot of opportunities for youths to make it. I used to think the same until I started to believe, hey, here's what, if there's no opportunities, you go out and create them. And that's what we did. The job market is in a bad position, but once you put your mind to something, you can create opportunities for yourself, and that's what we did. We're both wedding photographers, full time. We've been doing it full time 3 years, and that's how we were able to make our visions come to life. Just through hard work and dedication.
Okay, wonderful, definitely inspiring. And how long was the process in terms of acquiring the cash and completing the home itself? How long was that process?
About 2 years.
2 years,
Yeah,
So
around
about 2 years in total. We started to build the foundation. We built the foundation in 2021. I think around October or November. Yeah, that picture you're seeing there, around October or November was when we started in 2021. So throughout the entire 2022 was really working on the structure itself, walls and flooring and everything, which we did most of ourselves. Thank God for my father, who taught me those skills of, flooring and tiles, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for family. Anything you want to add to it?
Um, it's been like an amazing journey. It was a lot of hard times in between, emotionally. It was frustrating at many times as well, but we was able to get around those obstacles and those difficult moments
Yeah, for
and
sure.
keep our aim and our gaze on our goals. And we always saw the big picture, and we was just, walking towards that big picture.
Definitely.
Okay, and in the society, in our the societal norm right now, you go to school, you get some subjects, you find a job, and you move on from there. But oftentimes we look down on persons who has a vocational skill. So you said the both of you all are photographers. You would have learned some things in terms of construction from when you were younger. How can you inspire young persons to monetize these skills that they have?
Right. So most of my friends took the route of as you say, the societal norms. They went to school, go into a field, whether it be engineering, doctor, all the things that your parents growing up wants you to be, a lawyer, these kind of things. But they won't tell us go and be a photographer or go and be a carpenter or go and be a plumber. But I can tell you from first-hand experiences, these things can make you extremely successful. A lot of youths growing up, they think that the skills that they possess, they won't be able to make a comfortable living with it. There's nothing better than working for yourself. There's absolutely nothing better than that. I mean, not having to wake up early every morning, sticking to the routine. Now, I'm not trying to put down the people who have to do that. That's what you have to do, right?
A lot of respect to
yeah,
them.
a lot of respect. That's your choices. That's your path. But I think we need to focus a lot more on the vocational skills as well, because there is a place in society for it. And as long as you put your best foot forward and you do it with the right intention, not with the intention to make money, but the intention to provide a good service or to just add something valuable to society,
Or genuinely do something you love.
yeah, the rest will follow. The money and the stability and all those things will follow as a byproduct of the hard work that you put in. So yes, there is a place for it in society, and don't give up on that. If you have a skill, you could monetize it by just simply putting in the hard work, and people would see the hard work. the rest will come eventually, and it will start to come naturally to you.
Yeah, and if you know you have a talent, don't wait for tomorrow or next week or next year to work on it. Work on it from now and take the risks.
Yeah.
It will be worth it. And the world will see what you have to offer, and the world will see your talent and what you're good at, because everybody, and trust me, everybody is good at something.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you so much, Caitlin and Azim, for chatting with us this morning. Thank you for sharing your story and inspiring us as young persons in Trinidad and Tobago to take this step and make these sacrifices to achieve what we want to achieve. So viewers, right now we'll be taking a quick break and we'll be right back. Please remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable. Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us.
Never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Live more.
Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if your nice car get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
when you're moving from place to place.
Welcome back to Youth
Morning.
Wednesdays on Tobago Updates Morning Show. Yes, we are still in 2023, no longer 2022. And this morning, we want to pivot away from construction and all that inspiration towards youth development and sport. This morning, I'm ably joined by Mistress Kyla Keith Wilson, coach of Nickers Netball Academy. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And she's also joined by Mr. Kerry Celestine, coach of the Elite Basketball Academy. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
And Happy New Year's to you guys. Compliments of the season, and I wish you guys all the best, as you have been doing the best in your own right. So this morning, you know, we're talking about youth development in relation to netball and basketball. I want to begin with the ladies first, if you don't mind. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and where your love for netball began.
Well, good morning again, and thank you. Name, Kyla Keith Wilson. I'm a wife, mother, past netballer, administrator, secretary by profession. My love for netball started way back in 95 or so. That's where the love. That's where the love came. But I was playing before that, and this is when I was attending Scarborough Secondary, and they had the work to rule, and you know we couldn't compete, and we found a way of competing by going under a different name, no longer Scarborough Sec, you know, Blazers, and so. So that's where the passion started. And it flourished ever since, you know, trying out for National Under 16, forming, as I said, Blazers. And then as I got older, got injured and realized, okay, I could no longer play. So then I went into administration. It didn't give me the kick that I wanted. So I then went into coaching. Yeah.
They threw.
Right. So I went into coaching. And the fuel to form Nickers Netball Academy came from when I came back from Jamaica and spoke with Marva Bernard, OD, and she fueled that and said, Kyla, go back and get the youths. That is what Jamaica is doing. So I came back here and that was it. I didn't look back since then, and that's 2018.
Right, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Mr. Celestine, where did your love for basketball begin?
All right, well, good morning. Basketball has been my life. Started basketball in secondary school as well. Falling in love with the game that I was so passionate. It became part of my daily routine. Was on the national team, left Trinidad and Tobago, went to the States, played, went to college, came back to Tobago and realized that the sport from a youth level needed a lot of development. All right, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna, you know, volunteer and give back to the youths. So my program started off as a volunteer program, and then I decided, you know what, let me form an academy where we could have these youths take part in different programs and develop holistically. So for me, basketball has always been the driving force of everything in my life. I got my degree off of basketball. I got everything off of basketball. And I want to give a youth in Tobago that opportunity where he could go travel the world, go different places, get education from the sport of basketball.
And sticking with you, you would have, you know, started this academy to help foster youth development.
Yes.
And quite interestingly, the two of you are collaborating, you know, to foster that youth development in Tobago in your own field. I just want to ask, you know, I don't mean to be facetious, but what is the difference between netball and basketball? Is it that netball is the female version of basketball, or vice versa? What would you say to that?
I would say that no. Netball has its own rules, have its own structure, have its own way of doing things. Yes, similar in nature, where both sport use a similar shape court and a ring to shoot in, but the way how you advance that ball is different. And the way you get that ball from one end to the next end, you have so much strategy behind it. And for example, my boys, sometimes we take them to the netball side to play netball, and they'll be like, wow, coach, we know netball was so hard. You know.
Interestingly, I was sharing with you, Miss, that I too had a misconception about netball, but when I began to play it, it was worse than swimming, boy. In terms of it really
it's intense.
Yes, very intense.
It's intense, and you have to constantly be thinking. It's intense. It's physical.
Yeah. So I just wanted to pivot to you. How is it possible that you guys could collaborate? Given that Mr. Celestine just mentioned that there's somewhat of a difference in netball.
We collaborate because we understand what is needed right now for the youth. So although he's basketball, I'm netball, I am also a basketball player. Right? He also then started playing netball. So we understand, we have the same purpose, we have the same focus. So we came together and decided, listen, you have a ton of boys, I have a ton of girls. Let us get them. And it's not just to play sports. We have holistic development with them. We engage in activities like hiking. This cycle, we want to do financial development with them, have them who don't have bank accounts and that kind of thing, start to have them understand that it's not just sport. You have to have holistic development. So that's where the collaboration would come in. We recently had a dinner where we try to teach them etiquette training. All of that is part of what the development that we are taking on. So we traded in sneakers for high heels for the girls, and the guys, traded in the t-shirts for a nice shirt. And so it's holistic development. That's why we collaborate to ensure that the boys understand how to treat the women, how to have an approach and see things from a different perspective, and then vice versa. The women understanding their worth and know what to expect from the gentlemen also, as well as I said, the financial stability, the etiquette training, and that kind of thing, and being able to bond and communicate.
And I want to give kudos to you guys because, very rare you would see, an academy geared towards a particular sport so vested in the overall well-being of an individual. What truly inspired this? Because, you look at these, I'm not certain how known netball is nationally, internationally I should say, but when you look at the lifestyle of basketball men, did you see the need, especially young men, to help foster these ideologies and to kind of shift away from the preconceived notion of how a man in sport ought to behave?
Yes, definitely. Like I said, when I came back, and I saw the youths playing and stuff like that, and I realized that they had no one there to guide them or to show them the way. It was a motivating factor for me to get into the sport even more, to coach and to direct them, because these youths are the future, and they need to know how to do certain stuff. And sometimes they have all the knowledge, they have a lot of knowledge at hand right now. I always tell them, you have a library of videos called YouTube. You can learn anything, you can do everything on YouTube. However, you need to be able to know how to carry yourself, how to approach a situation, how to think things through. And this is where the academy comes in. We just help them to navigate in the rough waters, because they have when you listen to how they talk and how they express themselves, you can see that they have so much vision and so much passion, but it's just to direct them. And that's where my role come in, where it's to just direct them. Sometimes I get calls late and I say, sir, I have a problem. What do you think I should do? Coach, this and this happening. How would you approach it and stuff like that? And that's my route. This is my value to these youths, just to guide them along their course, because I can't choose for them, but I could guide them.
And give them an opportunity that we probably didn't have.
Exactly.
We didn't have persons behind us, saying, okay, do it this way, try this. We didn't have that. So now giving it to an abundance of children, a plethora of them. Can we have, about 50?
50, yeah.
And how many girls do you?
About 30 on rotation. So So when we on the court is full to capacity. You know, so it's just giving these young people an opportunity to have a better option, to have options.
Right. I know that you know, basketball is very popular, right? And I want to ask you, and I know that netball, in my view, was one of those female sports that was so, you know, prevalent in communities, especially small communities. Are you of the view that these two sports are overshadowed by the popular sport of football? Would you really blame football? If so, if not, then how would you account for the fact that the sport is somewhat dying? If you do agree with that statement, and you know, what would be your role to help revitalize that?
We must admit that there has been a gap, right? It's not dying.
Right.
It's not dead, I should say, but there has been a gap. And this is where we come into now. Instead of just focusing on the older ones, we trying to fill that gap by, I have persons as young as 4 years old at my academy. Kerry has a very young one as well. So, and all the way up until like 20, 22. So once we continue to fill that gap and then penetrate back into the associations, the Tobago Basketball Association, the Tobago Netball League, once we penetrate back into those, we would get back on stream in revitalizing the sport throughout the community. I am not going to blame football. And we have to admit that the shift in focus for sport has been happening. So it's just to revitalize that.
And additionally to Kyla, from the basketball standpoint, basketball is one of the few sports that we don't have a primary school program. Right? So basketball starts at secondary school. So by the time these youths reach the secondary school, they have been exposed to track and field, football.
Options,
yes, and so we are always on the back end of it. So it's like people who probably don't like the rest of sports going to come into basketball. So we always start a little bit later, but that is something that we want to change moving forward. We want to have a primary school program where primary schoolers could learn to play the game and enjoy the game just like the other sports as well.
Right, all right. Guys, unfortunately, this was a very short interview. I wish I could have had you guys all morning. But we want to pivot to the flyer on the screen. Just tell the viewers where they can find you guys, what times and where, and the feed, whatever possible feed that might be attached to your program.
Right. Nickers Netball Academy, we operate out of Shaw Park and Montgomery. We tend to go through the island as well, more through the summertime and so. But Mondays, 4:30 to 6:30 at Shaw Park. Wednesdays, 4:30, 6:30 Montgomery. And Saturday morning, 7:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. for different age groups. And it's just $200 a month. And you come and from foundation up.
Right, and just share with the viewers any contact information so those who might be so interested could reach out to you.
For Nickers Netball Academy, 683-7720. Again, 683-7720, and it's Coach Kyla.
And you just give us a bit of your information.
All right, so Elite Eagles Basketball Academy, our home court is Shaw Park, and we are there for the entire week. We'll be there from Monday to Saturday. We have our beginners classes on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then we have our advanced classes on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. All right. The number to contact me is at 754-6078, and Coach Kerry is the name, and you could call me for any other information.
All right, guys. Thank you guys very much for being here. Continue doing the good work in Tobago, and all the best in your endeavors. Guys, that is it for this morning. Right, you just want to take a quick break just to close off the show, and we'll be right back. Just remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Welcome to Lamarche Parfait Day Spa and Wellness Center, your premier spa experience located at Bonaccord, Tobago. Visit us today for facials, cellulite treatments, body contours, body treatments, pedicures, manicures, and much more. We have gift cards for all occasions and corporate events. Connect with us on Facebook at Le Marge Parfait Day Spa or call us 273-7772.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement, and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Excel Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
Rest Assured helped me to cope with the unexpected, provides financial help for final expenses. Rest Assured, the affordable financial comfort plan. Tattoo Life, guaranteed protection. Whole Life helps me secure their future, provides financial protection with added benefits. Whole Life, the affordable financial benefits plan. Tattoo Life, guaranteed protection.
Welcome. It's Christmas time at Le Marge Parfait Day Spa.
Feliz Navidad. Bienvenido a Limas Parfait Day Spa.
Our national borders, our first step to security, but a possible access point for guns, drugs, crime. If it does not look right, do the right thing. Call Crime Stoppers anonymously. 800-8477. Report possible border crime.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Youth Morning Show. This morning we have a very familiar face joining us. Yes, we have Mr. Julian Skeet here with us this morning.
Good morning.
And he's here to talk about the Tobago Youth Awards, the 2022 edition. Good morning, Mr. Skeet.
Morning to you, Kim. Good morning to all of viewers and listeners.
Okay, so can you start off by telling us how long the program has been in existence and some of the main goals that it aims to achieve?
All right, so the Tobago Youth Awards, this is our 2022 edition, and it was established even prior to my involvement in the department in 2003. It would have started. The primary objectives continue to be a focus on highlighting, rewarding, and certainly giving an opportunity for our young persons, to pull together, to put forward their achievements and to be recognized in a world where it is more often than less, you tend to sometimes only hear the negatives in relation to youth development. So this award, this Tobago Youth Awards, is one of those elements that seeks to highlight and to recognize youth excellence.
Okay, wonderful. And can you talk a little bit about the nomination process as well as the selection process? How does that work? Because I can imagine you'll receive a lot of applicants. How do you narrow down those top three nominees for the evening of the awards? And how does the selection process work when you narrow it down?
All right. So the nomination process, very simple and straightforward one. Let's say due to the advent of COVID, the process has gone fully online. We have individual and group categories for the Tobago Youth Awards. Since the change with the National Youth Policy for the youth age, young persons now 10 to 35, that's 10 years right up to 35, can now qualify to make submissions for the Tobago Youth Awards. In this period, what we have is a number of categories, and the categories range from agriculture, education, entrepreneurship, health and wellness, media, performing arts, youth leader, you have People's Choice, you have Youth Service, Youth Triumph, and there's one category that allows us to go over 35, and that is the Youth Mentor category, which is persons aged 36 and up. So this year, this time around, persons are to visit the link that is available on the division's webpage. That's the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport. there is a link for the individual form, and there's also a link for the group form. Once you click on that link, you have the opportunity to submit all your details. That will qualify you, some straightforward questions, basic info to enter, age, name, etc. And then certainly you give us all the additional details in preparation for the consideration process. You also will have the opportunity online to upload documents for consideration by the selection committee. And one of the good things this year is when you hit submit, you automatically receive an email with a copy, a version of what you would have submitted, so you can also confirm. And if for some reason before the deadline of Thursday the 12th of January 2023, you recognize, oh my God, I forgot to add in this kind of information, you can go back and edit your form from the same email submission. You have until the 12th of January.
Okay, and in terms of the People's Choice, I know previously you all would have used likes on Facebook, and in the last Youth Awards, you all used the Survey Monkey method for persons to vote for their favorite contestants in the People's Choice category. Can you speak to what will be used this year in terms of the method for voting for the People's Choice?
Certainly. Well, usually we don't like to announce it ahead of time. But let me tell you a little bit. The People's Choice is the one award. The awards that I just mentioned would normally go before a selection committee. And that selection committee is usually a combination of independent representatives throughout the Tobago space. There is one representative from the Department of Youth Development, and all other representatives come from whether it is the banking sector, agriculture, health and wellness, different areas, established professionals in their field. However, they give consideration to the 10 individual categories and the 3 group categories. But the People's Choice is one category that we've dedicated to young persons who are within the high school or secondary school system. So therefore, for the People's Choice, we invite each high school to submit one person that is your outstanding youth leader, youth service, that student that really exemplifies, in terms of representing the school and doing well, as we would like to see. And that outstanding student, as you rightfully said, we then use an online mechanism. We have moved from likes on Facebook for one reason or another. And therefore, we put that out usually in the countdown to the hosting of the Tobago Youth Awards ceremony. Because as you are aware, the Youth Awards ceremony, we put all the energy, all the hype into it. And yes, this year will also be a themed event. Persons will see by the time their invitations are out what the dress code is going to be for Tobago Youth Awards this year, and so on. And therefore, we give you that period, which is mere hours in the countdown. Sometimes it's 48, sometimes it's 72 hours, sometimes it's a week. Who knows what it's going to be in this year, where you now need to log on, you get an opportunity to read about, learn about these students, and you have the chance to vote for your People's Choice. So the People's Choice is that single award that is determined by votes by those far and wide who are able to access the online system.
Okay, so the Youth Awards this year sounds very exciting.
Exciting.
Very exciting. And in terms of persons who want to nominate someone, but they don't necessarily have the resources, does the division have anything in place for those persons?
Certainly. The division, all our systems are a go. There are contact information that's available, and let me give you the contact information. For those wanting to follow up, you can contact us at 639-4818, and that's extension 2005, 2006, and 2018. That's 639-4818. That's at the Division of Community Development, Youth Development, and Sport. You can also visit any of our offices. All our officers, whether our field officers, that's youth auxiliary officers that are out throughout Tobago, our youth centers located in Castara, located in Roxborough, Bethel, and Signal Hill, the staff are there to support. So even if you don't have online access, feel free to visit or to connect with us at any one of our youth development spaces, and we are there to support and to assist you with the preparation of your submission. Because sometimes you know you're good with something, but as a nominator, the person nominating, and just to make that quick clarification, you must be nominated by someone. So for example, Kaylee Lewis, outstanding individual, you must have at least one person, a resident of Trinidad and Tobago, that can testify and has the confidence that Kaylee Lewis, as a resident of Trinidad and Tobago, resident in Tobago, has the capacity and she falls within the age group, and she's definitely someone that can be nominated. And we have also made modifications over the years. The person being nominated also has to be part of that process, because what we would have had in the past is multiple persons submitting nominations. And we certainly go against that now, because what would have happened is you have 3 or 4 persons submitting a nomination for Kaylee, Which one do the judges assess? So we tell persons clearly, you only need to submit one nomination, and when somebody is nominating you, they must do it with your consent.
Okay, wonderful. And is there a specific time frame for the work that would have been completed in terms of the nominees for them to be a part of the competition?
Correct. In this period, the Tobago Youth Awards, where we're recognizing excellence for 2022, the primary period for consideration is September of 2021 to August of 2022. So the last Youth Awards that would have been held in 2021, the time period in that instance would have gone up to August of 2021, and therefore the consideration for this period, and notice I'm saying not the only consideration, but the primary consideration. So in other words, if you're going to speak about your achievements as individuals or as groups, feel free to speak about the whole. But remember to ensure that you specifically highlight those achievements between the period of September 2021 and August of 2022.
Okay, and as we close off, can you just tell us a little bit about who is eligible to be a part of the Tobago Youth Awards?
All right, so the Tobago Youth Awards is open to all young persons in the Tobago space, and the eligibility criteria, you just have to fall within the youth age, which is age 10 to 35. So I'm urging all our viewers, listeners, feel free. Anyone you know within that age is eligible to be nominated. There are several categories that you can find online via our Facebook page. Contact us via phone or reach out to any of our youth officers within the Department of Youth Development in the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport. And I want to say, with the support of our Secretary, Pastor Terence Baines, Assistant Secretary Wayne Clark, Administrator Mr. Kent, and the team, it's safe to say that we have over 70,000 in prizes that will be given out to individuals, groups, and organizations. And so as we continue to support the work of our young persons and to really continue to promote youth excellence.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Skeet, for chatting with us this morning. I think we are all very excited for the Tobago Youth Awards 2023.
Yes.
Definitely.
But the achievement period is from 21 to 2022.
Most definitely. Okay, so viewers, thank you all so much for joining us this morning. It was really an amazing show. We had a lot of inspiration this morning from all of our guests. Please remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. And we'll be going to Good Morning Tobago with Candice Jackson up next.
Raise a toast, and we are toasting to longevity, long life, good health, good family, a beautiful island, good home, good access points to your homes, and above all, support and love from family, friends, and the Tobago House of Assembly. Cheers. Hip, hip, hip.
Hey. Get there.
It is an honor to honor the elderly. The Bible says that we must honor our mothers and our fathers, that our days may be long on the land. And that extends beyond just mommy and daddy to the grandparents and the great-grandparents. In fact, my very presence here is because some grandmother and grandfather took time to nurture me. We could thank all the people on this island, but if we don't thank you for the role you have played in building this island, then we would have failed you, and would have failed miserably.
You are not just a beacon of the bygone past, but treasures of the present and examples for the future.
Only them businessmen could pay. They say that Christ is born on Christmas Day. They say it is a pagan's holiday.
Great, very great. I think it's one of the best things we had after the pandemic. It brings out a lot of people, a lot of my friends that I used to work with. I haven't seen them after I retire. So I was happy today to see them.
It was a great evening. It was a good evening, a great evening for the citizens. And this is something that you always look forward to at Christmas time. It normally has happened in villages, normal villages, village to village, but this day it just extends to everybody one time.
It was great, it was great. I enjoyed everything about it. Every single thing about it I enjoyed. When my family come in, so I feel big and proud. I said, look, my grandson. It was great. I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
And how did you enjoy it?
It was wonderful. It was wonderful with the blessing of the Lord.
Holy Christmas morning, everybody busy doing something. Who went waiting, let's love it.
That was a production of the Department of Information.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise. Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. Tributes continue to pour in following the passing of Tobago cultural icon Royal Axpac Titus. Among the tributes was that of Chief Secretary Fali Augustine, who stated that Titus contributed greatly to the development of culture on the island and left an indelible mark. Titus was also recognized by the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, which issued a statement praising him for his work as an educator, mentor, and performer, which influenced the development of many in the cultural community. Titus passed away on January 2nd at the age of 80. In some other news, the Tobago Business Chamber Chairman, Attorney Martin George, complained that the Tobago economy continues to suffer from political ramblings. He claimed that the retail sector experienced low sales over the Christmas season and believes politicians are partly to blame. George said that the continued rift between Chief Secretary Fali Augustine and the political leader of the PDP, Watson Duke, is destroying confidence in the private sector. He added that any sort of political instability or disturbance is never good for the economy and hopes for a peaceful resolution before it is too late. And nationally, the Inter-American Development Bank predicted growth for the economy of Trinidad and Tobago in 2023. The report was publicized last week and stated that the economy is expected to recover in 2023 and maintain moderate levels of growth into 2024. The growth is based on rising energy prices, which are anticipated to continue through 2024. Sectors of the economy which are expected to experience some level of growth are manufacturing, accommodation, food services, transportation, and storage. And that was the news in 90 seconds. And viewers, yes, we are here for a brand new year in 2023. So this is the first time we see you for 2023. So I want to wish every single one of you a very happy new year and many, many blessings for 2023. And hope that it is a lot better than 2022. We're moving on, people, and, you know, we're hoping that things look up for each and every one of us. But getting into our work, our news, well, I say news, but getting into our program today, I mean, we got to be talking about education. School started back yesterday, with the exception of at least one school. And to give us a bit more perspective on what's going on within our education sector, we have none other than Mr. Braden Roberts, who is a Tobago officer for Tutor. Good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm quite all right. Good morning to the viewers and the listeners to the program, and Happy New Year to all.
All right. So, I mean, give us an idea of, you know, were all schools able to open tomorrow with the exception of Scarborough Secondary, or were there more?
It was only Scarborough Secondary School, as far as I'm aware. Other schools would have had their little issues and so forth, but not to the extent where they were not able to open. Before we go to Scarborough Secondary, though, I would want to highlight St. Andrew's School. They have an issue with mold in the teachers' toilets.
Wow.
And we know that mold is not something to play with. It can give serious health implications. Throughout the term last term, they would have cleaned the walls, painted it, but those are the topical things. They are not treating the real issue of the source of the mold and so forth. So it's resurfacing once again. I would have given guidance to the staff there. You are not to compromise your health. We know that we don't want to have school shut down and we do refusals to work, but if the division don't act, we need to ensure the health and safety of all of our members. So I'm hoping that the division do the needful in a very shortest possible time.
Were they notified?
They have been kept up to date throughout. So each time they clean it and it resurfaces, they are updated. But if this is to continue, it is going to cause unease, first of all, for the teachers at the school.
Certainly.
And a disruption to the education delivery, and we would not want these things persisting for any lengthy period of time.
All right. Now, what's going on with Scarborough Secondary School? You know, we saw that they were unable after they had to have a meeting. Were you involved with that meeting for when a decision was made?
Yes, I was invited to that meeting, and I would say once the division calls, I would be there. If they call me now, I'll have to wish you all the best, and I am gone. So I am about trying my best to assist where I can. So it's not just to come out and say, this is bad or so. I would want to assist as well.
Great.
So we had a meeting on Friday to discuss the current situation and the best way moving forward. With the kind of works needed, the grouping saw it fit to have the significant portion done this week so that we are safer going out when it's the students and all the teachers coming back out.
Yes, and we saw that students were encouraged to still attend classes online. What can you tell us about how your teachers feel about that situation? Is this an okay solution for them?
So I saw the release which indicated that they would be in contact with their teachers. I'm not certain if the release said to do online engagement, but we need to get away. I don't know why we're just persistent with heavy rains, bad road, something in a school, online. That's not how education functions. You have to adequately prepare for online engagement. So I am not aware of much online work being done. We have learning loss because online engagement wasn't ideal. It was an ad hoc emergency type thing. If we don't prepare the structure, put aside adequate planning time, online engagement would just be of a babysitting method where you have the children in front of you, but you don't have that connection where education is meaningful. But it's unfortunate that we have this particular situation. They had 3 weeks of the vacation. We know from September the flaws of the school. So it's either you are starting, even in the last week of school, or the Saturday our school closed, Friday evening workmen should be there. But they would have started in the second week of the vacation, and not, I don't believe it's Monday morning they started. It was later down into the second week. What they went to treat with, it's not something that in the perfect world would happen in 2 weeks time to completion. So we need to be a little more mindful and be more proactive in how we address repairs. I know if myself, the public would be at the secretaries and the division when schools are not ready, but you can't just react to what the public doing or what the public blaming and so forth. You have to respond, prepare and respond. So they need to be a little more proactive where that is concerned so that we don't have additional losses at time due to situations like this.
Certainly. And then when it comes to the construction of a new school for Scarborough Secondary, because, I mean, no matter how many times they work on the current building, there are always going to be issues because of that coastal erosion that's happening. Where is the division in making that move to construct a new school? What's going on?
Right, so we had a meeting yesterday, which was chaired by the Chief Secretary. Based on the submissions, we are back to square one. We have another piece of land that is identified, which is close proximity to the initial land that was acquired in Bacalet. But the designs and so on are to be started. I'm not aware of the survey being completed where the land was identified. So it's possible that after it's surveyed, we may discover that it's not a suited area.
Was that the problem with the original piece of land?
With the original piece where they experienced the heavy rains and how the area looked, and it would be a challenge and might be a very costly initiative if they were to go steadfast and build there. So we are back to square one. We had the stakeholders meeting yesterday. I am a bit disappointed though, as some of the things discussed at the meeting, we should have been further along. I hope that we don't have this continuing as a political thing. Because I remember back in 2020, the then Secretary of Finance, I think it was Georgia, indicated that they had about 200 mil or 200,000 put aside. And where was that money? Where was that money? I don't know. That was just something to see as it was near election time. So now we have the alumni writing with the student body. And then we have this response. So I'm hoping that it's something sturdy where we are actually moving forward with Scarborough Secondary School and not a response that the letter was written and we have a meeting with stakeholders and we kind of mamagain each other and so forth. The Chief Secretary would have outlined some things to be done, and it's for us to ensure that we stick to that and we stay on them in ensuring that the new Scarborough Secondary School becomes a reality.
In the shortest possible time.
In the shortest possible time. And as we mentioned, that may be within the next 4 to 5 years, 6 years, depending on how long the design and the allocation of the funds and starting the works may take. So then the next question is the contingency plan for the current school. We haven't been able to get anywhere with that discussion, but once we do an analysis of the school, or the curriculum, the program, we will know what we can adjust. So I'm hoping that we do that, and not just for Scarborough, for all schools, so that we can make education a little more meaningful to our students.
And I want to move the discussion along just education in a general sense. Now, we've had 1 year of this, the Chief Secretary of the Father Augustine-led administration in THA. Has there been a difference between this past year as opposed to the previous administration? Has things been better? You know, what can you tell us?
Well, politics is something that is very distracting.
Yes, it is.
It won't be better, especially with how the politics would have gone by in the past months, the year. I'm hoping that we could settle down and be more focused to the task at hand, because it is very distracting when in the media who say this and who say that. We have to get work done. We need to address issues, but we're addressing comments and persons saying this, and then we're reacting to that. And I still want to even mention this Tobago-centric thing. What was it? Was it something nice to say to the public? Why are we not starting to work on that curriculum and seeing how we can impact education? School violence and those things, it would happen because students choosing those things that entertain them. Education needs to be a little more meaningful. In terms of the curriculum unit, we need to have something where we assess the program of our schools so that we can enhance those things. So what we'd have had mainly in the past year is the school repairs and how that's handling and so forth, but programs to improve education, it has not started, I would say, just yet. Because of the politics and the distractions and so forth. So I don't want to give a judgment as to if it was better or worse, but I would say it could only get better when we are focused on the task at hand and not all the distracting things. Because it's even difficult for myself in addressing the issues because everything is taken politically. It took about 4 or 5 months after giving them some time in January, for them to recognize that the Tobago officer is raising particular issues, because they came at me and they came at submissions and not addressing issues. And we are still there, you know. Very little is being done because we are in the politics of the thing. And we are not getting that wake-up call because the citizenry, for some reason, like this politics. So it's my team against your team, and we are living here. We elect people to govern because we can't all do it. And we spend our time defending wrongdoing until we are fed up of it. That happened with PNM.
Yes.
And then we're defending wrongdoing going on here now because that's my team. That's so I'm not seeing the improvement that we were hoping for with all the promises and so on. But I am willing and always ready to work with the division once they call. And even if they don't call, I'm ready to suggest my ideas.
And has Tutor made any submissions or proposals as to, you know, even like how we can help produce a more Tobago-centric education system, just the different ways that we can improve the education system, and even in addressing that online situation?
All right, so we would have expressed to the division our willingness to sit and discuss the parameters for online engagement. So we need to build that structure.
Yes.
December, I believe they would have put a team together, but we have not met to date. I would have written a letter to the division, I would have been in April, of some suggestions and recommendations for the various issues. There wasn't a response to it. Well, I believe the administrator of the time and so on, I don't know what's really happening at the division. But I would have expressed to the secretary as well, I would have my thoughts towards the Tobago-centric thing and willing to work on it. She would have embraced it. I believe in the near future, she indicated we would have some meetings and so on to get the discussion going. But so far, it's the verbals and we're not getting the action of it. So as I said before, once they call, I'm there.
Yes.
And even if they don't call, I'm ready to submit and suggest ways for us to really get education going, because we are living here, you know.
Yes, we are.
When we don't treat education properly, we are going to continue to suffer because our children who are not getting the best will become adults and they will make their choices based on their upbringing. So we need to have enriching programs. And if we partner with the community, where community centers are being better utilized, where our students are more engaged in positive things. We would have seen the video of, I think it was some kind of Batman music playing in the back, and there's this challenge where schools doing it, and persons found it to be a good thing because at least you're unifying. So we had to choose something like that to show unification. Why can't we have positive things trending? Why can't we have, and that's the culture we're creating, you know.
Yeah.
Bad things are entertaining to us.
And I think that also comes from the public itself, where we're seeing the adults act in a certain way and gravitate more to negative things, and it's unfortunately filtering down to our young people.
And it speaks to leadership. So you need to lead your people in a particular way. So we need to have enriching programs in Tobago. Education sector. Partner with the community, partner with corporate Tobago. Corporate Tobago will not know how to assist schools if they don't know what the program of schools are.
Right.
So that is the kind of collaboration we need, but I mean, we're beating this thing for the longest while. And it's not just Tobago, you know, it's nationally. I believe because we have this political cycle of a 4-year or 5-year, we do political things to secure a term and not so much do impactful things for your nation to really improve.
Well, and I guess another thing that's needed in terms is long-term planning. But, I mean, it's easy for us to say that, okay, this needs to be done and that needs to be done. But how do we as a public understand what needs to happen to make, let's say, to create that Tobago-centric program? Like, what do we need to do within the public service? Like, how does it all work in the background for that to come into fruition?
All right, so one of the drawbacks to our country, and more so in Tobago, we seldom read. We seldom educate ourselves. So we hear what's trending and we get an opinion on that and we just run with it. We need to educate ourselves. So persons had a pushback to Tobago-centric. So you want to change the curriculum. But it's not so much changing the curriculum, it's making the curriculum more meaningful. So for example,
it's being more inclusive.
Right. So for example, tourism is more taught when you have a tourism competition. So you drill some students for the tourism competition. but you don't have tourism being taught in a meaningful way from infants coming all the way up. Sports, football, it happens, it's just the football season. But those young boys, that thematic approach where football could be used as a reference point to teach throughout. But our curriculum is so robust. There is so much to cram into a short space of time. If there's no structure to how you can do that inclusive education, we are just teaching content to finish the curriculum.
What do you think is behind that pushback? That from just people within those positions to make it happen?
Well, I mean, the political will needs to be there, despite what the public may see. That's the political will.
Right.
And there is a quote that says, a true leader takes people where they're supposed to be, not where they want to be. So we need to get people into reading more. Even persons going to the bank or whatever institution, they even want to read the form in front of them. Because we have that culture of, you know, tell me everything and I would just operate in that sphere. So we need to have our public more inclined to reading. We could have reading, why we don't have a reading challenge? And we have that in the community, why we don't have these positive things? And our area representatives could push those things. We need to have community leaders coming out and push those things, so we don't need to lean on politicians all the time. But somebody has to come forward and suggest these things, put forward these things. We have, in each community, we have, I can't remember the name of it, but the community groups, where I think they have more like the community, where they station at the community centers and so forth, they can have these programs, but somebody has to lead it.
Right.
And we spend too much of our time following TikTok videos, we scroll through Facebook. Sometimes you'll see, I'm just here for the comments, you know, it's a fun and laugh, but there are serious things to be done in Tobago, you know.
Right.
And if we don't have persons engaged heavily into the conversations as to how I can make a difference, it would be a slow moving conversation and with little action.
Certainly.
If we don't get up and start doing.
Now, this term, this is where students prepare to write the SEA exam, as well as CXC and CAPE. How prepared are our students? Will we see a better result this year than in 2022, sorry. Because, I mean, we know that the pandemic really did affect our kids.
Well, if you indicate to me what different happened, I can see, well, because of this difference, we may get something better. Then I would say, yes, I'm optimistic that we'll get better results. But the only change that we'd have had is we came from online to face-to-face. We had education, recovery, and learning loss as fancy terms. What did we implement to really deal with what students would have missed?
Right, and the remedial learning
the remedial works and so forth. So we don't have, like in the past, remedial teachers who would take out some of the slow readers and work with them. So we need to have these things instituted so that we can look forward to better results. We are just hoping that teachers would just make a difference in the class. So send the children to the classroom, teacher will just work that miracle, and let's see if we'll get good results. When we don't get good results, we talk about it in this kind of way that, you know, it's not encouraging for the upcoming cohort. So we have to institute stuff. We need to work. We need to do things.
Now,
There's one more, sorry. The curriculum that we are teaching now, there are very little changes from how many years since we were at primary school. There are very little changes. Some of the things that they would have cut out, but we are not assessing what this program really is. What is the impact of it? How we need to assess it. We have one-day workshop for teachers. So they go to a one-day workshop and we hope that, you know, they transform into what they hope. We give very little resources. I don't believe that secondary schools ended the year getting any release for their school to buy whatever resources they would need. So when we treat schools in that particular way, when we treat education in that way, how we look forward to positive results.
What about in terms of remedial teachers? Is tutor encouraging some of their teachers, or at least some of the new and up-and-coming young people who want to go into the teaching profession, to consider remedial to consider being remedial teaching certified, because I mean, we know that, especially right now, that is so needed.
Yes, it is. And there are so many programs, and tutor also do their program from time to time.
Right.
But it's not just being able to deal with remedial students. It's having the time and having the programs set aside to afford such. Remember, we have high stakes exams.
Yes.
So we have SCA, with a pass or fail, although all students go forward, there's a pass or fail feeling to it. That's how it's implemented. So you, as a teacher who has the remedial skills, you work with some students at a slower pace. You don't finish your curriculum. Some of those same parents and stakeholders would say, this teacher didn't finish your curriculum and they have this exam to treat with. So we need to move away from high stakes exam and speak to the development of children. Because we have high stakes exam, there is that dilemma where child and curriculum, trying to balance completing the curriculum and having the child optimized in their growth and so forth. So those are the challenges, but unless we have a program set out, it's just up to our teacher to see how they balance it.
And on the national level, is there any political will or any serious effort to change that?
Well, we have the same conversations with the minister, you know. So although persons may believe I'm beating on the secretary and the division, we do the same thing with the minister in Trinidad. I believe when you are at a particular level, you don't understand how some other persons who are at a lower level would feel. So they may be able to afford private schools for their children. They may have schools where, as a minister child, so you know they put in the best, where the programs and so on. So we need to have a general overhaul look at curriculum delivery in Trinidad and Tobago. So not a Tobago thing.
And is there no serious effort towards it?
In meetings, the minister would indicate what suggestions are good suggestions. And you know, that's a good suggestion, but nothing happens. We need to have adapter school programs. That's something I would have submitted at a meeting. Yes, it's a good suggestion. But how would a corporate entity adopt a school when they don't know the program of the school?
Yeah, there needs to be a structure.
So we need to have that consultation with stakeholders. Right, this is the program of, let's say, Scarborough Secondary School. This is what Scarborough Secondary School offers. Then persons will know how they can assist. When we just have a school and we don't know what are the strengths of that school, where are the weaknesses of the school, so I will know how to assist, then we just have school. And we hope for the best. We ask for corporate sector to invest. But invest in what? So, I mean, the conversation as we have here, we have it at the ministry level as well. Unfortunately, we saw the makeshift guns that they have where they were shooting out fireworks or scratch bomb. And look what students are choosing. We are spending money in crime-fighting measures and not so much education. If you educate people, they would not choose violence as the slang that they have now. Enhance the education offering so that persons would be more positive-minded and choose positive things. And before the interview ends, I want to commend the THA and all the other stakeholders for highlighting those two young men who would have found the money, and it's continued awards for those persons. That show that you can be positively portrayed by doing these things. So it's good that we have those things that we can highlight from time to time, but we need more of it. We need to have persons where we lead them into positive thinking. And if we do have a structure, we will just be hoping that somebody catch on and something positive, but we need to put the work into doing it.
All right, and I think that's a great note to end our interview. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Roberts, for being on with us and just giving us your perspective. And of course, we're looking forward to hearing you throughout the year as to how things progress, and hopefully it's in a positive light.
Yes, yes.
We want some positive news.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much for having me as always. And I look forward to even the show and the program highlighting Tobago in all its glory.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Roberts. And viewers, don't go anywhere because we have more discussions coming up after the break.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if your nice car get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry, if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
It's a different type of thing down there. Now we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Mamai Lakai Home Services. We specialize in cleaning of carpets and rugs, mattresses, living room and dining room sets, vehicle detailing, cleaning and sanitizing of homes and commercial spaces. We also do landscaping and tree cutting, pressure and power washing, floor care, fumigating and air purifying. You can also call us for professional painting services, babysitting and adult sitting. Call us now 333-4 1430. At Mamai Lakai Home Services, we take cleaning to another level.
Energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and heal my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Update. So viewers, now as we go into 2023, you know, we need to focus a little bit on agriculture and, you know, building our food security, because as we saw at the end of 2022, what happened in Trinidad in terms of, you know, the adverse weather conditions affecting so much of our farmlands in Trinidad, that's affecting the food that we get in Tobago, it's affecting the prices and so on. And there's a continued discussion as to how do we build food security in Tobago. Now, for this morning, we are focusing on that of livestock. And we have none other than a livestock scientist, Mr. Keith George, to tell us a bit about, just give us a perspective on what's going on in our livestock sector here in Tobago. Good morning and welcome to you, sir. Happy New Year.
Thanks very much, and thanks for inviting me to share your platform. Happy New Year to all the world.
Awesome. So now, give us let's have an overview of what's happening within our livestock industry in Tobago. What do we have, and what do we need to produce?
What we have and what we need to produce. We need to produce food.
Certainly.
In all its description. But from a more basic standpoint, from our livestock, we are looking for 4 main economic products. Usually we hear 4 main economic products: milk, meat, eggs, and the 4th one, which we bring into the loop, is honey. All right.
We don't often consider honey, but yes.
Right. Well, it comes from bees, which part of the animals that have been domesticated for honey production, right? So the issue is, are we producing sufficient milk, meat, eggs, and honey? And that's where the challenge is, our quantities and our quality. So those are the 4 main economic products. In the Tobago environment, the issue, there are a number of challenges, and that results in low production, right? And what are some of these challenges?
Yes.
We say not sufficient. I'm of the view that, first of all, you need a policy framework to define the production environment. In other words, let's take it at a personal level. If you're going to build a house, first of all, you may probably want to decide the size of the house, floor space, how many rooms, the features that you need in and around the property. And similarly with livestock development, if you have to build a sector, if you have to build industry, you must have those goalposts that you're going to set up in terms of quantity, in terms of quality, in terms of frequency. You must have those in place. The rules and regulations that is going to guide the development of the sector, because it cannot happen in a vacuum. Those must be in place. So if we look at the Tobago space, the question is, if we are to produce milk, and as it is now, we do not have any documented milk production on the island. When I say documented milk production that can meet the standards that we
on
classify.
a commercial level.
Well, I'm not even saying commercial. Meet the standards of public health requirements, right? I'm not saying that no milk is being produced, but I'm saying documented milk that meets the standard of public health requirements. We do have a couple of goat farmers. We do have a couple of dairy cattle farmers. but it's undocumented operations, right? In terms of egg production, table egg production, we are up at about 70 to 75% of capacity, and I'm saying capacity here, approximately 240 to 250,000 dozens per month. We are up at about 70 to 75% of that. Meat production relative poultry.
Yes.
We're down about 7 to 10% of approximately, again, 240 to 250,000 heads per month. We're only producing about 7 to 10% of that, right? The other meats, and which I suspect we're not going to spend very much time with, you know, we have beef, pork, duck, turkey. Pork is fairly okay, maybe about 70 to 80%, because we still have a lot coming in via the wholesalers that are treating with the imports part of it. And beef might be 10, 15%, right? But again, too, we're not a big consumer of beef. There's a bigger appetite for pork. But again, you know, is how the whole system is organized.
All right. Now, I want to focus a bit on poultry because we, coming on to the end of the year, we saw that the Division of Agriculture, well, the Division of Food Production, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, they launched a program to get chicks for poultry farmers to encourage more poultry production here in Tobago. Now, I want to first look at what are the external challenges that we are facing here in Tobago in producing that good grade of poultry meat here on the island?
Any system that you're engaging will normally have a complete environment around it.
Yes.
All right. For broiler production, which is what we're talking about, you need a number of elements. One will be the hatchery. The hatchery, and maybe I step up a little bit from there, will be the birds that are producing the eggs to go in the hatchery, which we refer to as the breeder flock. And probably for the understanding of your audience, the birds that we have that are producing table eggs, it is not the same set of birds. The table eggs that we produce are for, that's exactly what they are, table eggs. They are not produced with males, right? So those eggs are usually infertile eggs. They do not need the males for the egg production. Where you have hatching eggs, you must have the males with the hens to produce fertile eggs. And those fertile eggs are what goes into the incubator to produce your baby chicks, to produce your broiler birds, meat birds, right? We do not have the breeder flock on the island to produce the eggs for the hatcheries. We do not have a hatchery. To the best of my knowledge, there is none. There was 2 private units, both are out of function. Then abattoir is critical because I may say here too that all livestock operations, for them to be successful, numbers are important, right? At the farmer level, at the national, local demand level, the numbers are important. I told you 240, 250,000 heads required. Those are big numbers, right? So we need the abattoir, we need the hatchery, we need the breeder flock. We do have fairly good abattoirs, cold storage services down at the TADCO complex in Shaw Park. Very good cold storage services. We also need transportation services, transportation associated with poultry. Not just trucking, but transportation associated with poultry. The arrangements are different, right?
So you're speaking here as a whole industry, a whole system, just centered around poultry production itself.
Yeah, definitely. And I would have done other work that tells you that there are 12 to 15 jobs, full-time jobs created with every 5,000 birds produced.
And this is not just on growing chickens, right?
No.
It's everything else around
Everything
it.
involved, right? Beyond that, you need investment, debt capital to go into the industry, or a lot of equity capital. The industry is largely equity capital.
Yes.
Right? ADB does play a major role. Venture capital does play a major role in the sector. But a lot of what we have is equity capital, primarily because the investments are very small. Right? So persons not going into heavy borrowing to support the industry. While I say that, on an average now, our flock sizes are 60 birds.
60 birds per farmer.
Per farmer, which is very, very small, largely because we have close to 2,000 farmers, the majority of whom are small farmers. Very few, I think our biggest number would be 25 to 3,000, but the majority are smaller, so they bring down that figure, right? So those are some of the critical areas that is required. Research and development in this sector is critical if the sector has to succeed. A lot of the research that is being done in the countries where the birds originate. And so the circumstances, the environmental circumstances, the production environment and so on is different. And so if we have to succeed in developing the sector, we have to conduct our own research and development. And of course, critical to research and development is the whole question of data.
And that continues to be a problem all around here in Tobago, and Trinidad and Tobago as a whole, but especially Tobago.
The region, but
the region, yes.
Tobago in particular, I don't know if it's that we are averse to data, but it's very, very scanty. And so making informed decisions, medium and long range planning, even short range planning sometimes becomes difficult if you do not have the data to support your decision making process.
Now, from your involvement in this industry, what has that told you? And even from the limited data that you've been able to access, but what has that told you about the birds that we need here that can fit our climate and just the environmental conditions, the unique stuff that we have here, to grow healthy birds to feed our people?
All right. Well, what you do have is that you have the developed countries that make significant investment, and have been making significant investment over time. In other words, the birds that we have now are ready for market from 1 day old at 6 weeks, 42, outer limit 49 days. They will be ready for the market. 25, 30 years ago, those birds would take you 10 to 12 weeks to reach the market. So we're talking significant contraction in the time, improvement in the genetic work and so on. Of course, that takes a different level of science, right? Yes. So we are working on the grow outside of the curve. The scientists are doing the work to produce this genetic commodity, and we are working on the grow outside to grow the birds at the 6 weeks. The research that is required will be in aspects of feed, management, the on-site management of the birds, aspects of disease management and stuff like that, and even record management. And on the technology side, we have most recently the introduction of tunnel ventilated systems that would allow you to increase the number of birds that you have per unit area. Generally for broilers, it's 1 square foot per bird. In the tunnel ventilated, you could come down to 0.75 square foot. But of course, your management integrity has to be much higher because you're having a higher density, smaller footage, and therefore poultry is highly subject to disease.
Yes.
So if you have that high density and it's not managed properly and a disease breaks, then you can understand that you could be in trouble. So,
have we been experiencing any sort of disease outbreaks within our systems?
Not recently. We do have H1N1, however, that is looming. It has reached as far down as Venezuela, which is on our back door.
It's only a matter of time.
So it's probably just a matter of time. As we progress into the dry season, we'll have to exercise far more caution because, a lot of the diseases tend to spread during the drier periods, when you have a lot.
And what
wind
systems
movements.
are in place to ensure that we can combat those diseases when they appear? If there are any.
We do have a veterinary department led by Dr. Caruth, who is a senior veterinarian, and they will be in contact with counterparts in Trinidad, right? But I believe that they will be on top of the situation. Dr. Caruth is very, very competent, very, very competent at her skill. Yeah.
Wow, I mean, I have a lot more questions for
sure.
you, but unfortunately we are actually out of time.
Okay.
But I mean, I just want to end with, just speaking to the Tobago public in terms of, just some of the things that we need to keep in mind as we are, especially the farmers themselves, as we are just working to develop and harness our food security for Tobago. Just give us that perspective.
All right. Well, what it requires is engagement, right? We made mention of the poultry initiative spearheaded by the Secretary for Agriculture, Food Security, Secretary Pantin. And I was a part of that. It came through the line of TADCO. And we introduced as well there the contract farming model. That is the success model throughout the world where poultry is successful. In fact, poultry is the second most successful livestock industry in the world. Dairy is the number one, right? I'm encouraging farmers to buy into the concept as it rolls out. TADCO is leading the charge in that respect, right? As we go into the dry season, farmers are encouraged to, whatever development options are available to them, pursue those. Cost and so on could be much less during the dry season compared with the rain season, and position themselves to improve and increase production. Of course, the Division of Agriculture, the THA, does have a responsibility in terms of creating a solid policy framework. The institutional framework, the schools, the lending institutions and so on, they have a role to play. And we need to bring all the players to the table. And, the more common term now is food systems transformation,
yes.
of which food security is a subset, right? But as you enter into this transformatory mode, you really need all players to participate in an energetic way.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much, Mr. George. And let me tell you something. We need to have you back many, many times because there's so much, you have a lot of knowledge and there's so much that we need to share with our public in terms about how we get this whole thing going. And like you said, it's all about a system approach. It's about transformation and all of that. So we're hoping to get into more discussions in the future. We're looking forward to it. And I just want to thank you for being on with us. And I hope that the people listening are hearing all the different areas, all the different things that need to be developed and where they can fit in to help us, ensure that establish a food security network.
Thanks for having me. My pleasure.
Great. Well, viewers, like I said, we are out of time, but that's how we're going to have to wrap our show this morning. It was a pleasure being with you, and join us again tomorrow. Chanel Phoenix will be taking over again, and I'll see you on Friday. So have a wonderful, safe, and productive day, and see you then.
Go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion starts.